I don't know. It's kind of up in the air right now.
Right, to be continued on that. So what so where are you right now? You got a woman, right? Are you guys like together? Are you engaged? I remember you do got a woman, right? Did you meet
Right. So I'm with
her?
Cello. Uh, we were dating before I went to prison. So 17 years ago we met, and we were on and off. She's up here in Utah. I ended up, so I had a condo in Vegas and I had a house up here in Utah, and I was back and forth. And I ended up, it was just too hot for me up here. So I got rid of my place up here and I was just living full time in Vegas. And when that happened, it kind of just caused a rift, like, because I stopped coming back up here. And, she kind of just went her way, I went mine. We would still see each other in passing here and there. And then I went to prison. Uh, I had my kid's mom, and my son. That was the most important thing to me. So the first 4 years, it was just all about them. But when I caught that second indictment, or I guess third indictment, because the state won too, but she was on there, and that just pretty much tore us apart. So I just went my own way and just did my time. Like, I tried to separate myself from the streets because that was the easiest way for me to do it. When you have all that time, it's hard to live in two places at once. So
Right.
I just let it all go and just figured, you know what? If people come back into my life, they come back into my life, but I'm not chasing anything. I'm just gonna just do my time, stand on my own 2 feet, and then when I get out, we'll see where the shit lies. Well, when I got out, she had 3 kids and been through whatever, a tumultuous marriage or whatever she had going on, and then I ended
So
up getting on social media because I was talking to somebody who lived in Australia, like on and off while I was in prison, and she told me to get an Instagram. So I did. And then, you know how social media just links you up with people or whatever. So, like, I was really in slow motion as far as the social media platforms go, because when I got out after, 13 plus years, I was just trying to wrap my mind around the world. Like, how do I function as a civilian? Like, I didn't want social media at first, and people were telling me, "Hey, you need to do this. It'll open up opportunity for you." And I was like, just bucking on it, really, just like, no, I'm cool. Let me ease my way into this world, like, because that's gonna just smack me right in the face. Uh, so it took me a couple months to get on Instagram, and then maybe like a month after that, it ended up linking us up, and we just started bullshitting and talking or whatever, and then slowly shit develops and shit. But it's crazy because when you're in prison, I wasn't all about the war stories. I never really did that. It was just like whatever. People always want to boast themselves up and talk, oh, I banged this many women at this party and made all this money and had all these whips and,
so
like,
many stories.
doing all this shit. Like, I was never really with that, but uh I did always say, like, damn, the one that got away was Cello. Like, because,
Uh,
like, when we were together, we always had fun. Like, that was my ride or die. Like, and I always kicked myself in the ass, like, damn, I fucked that one up, bro. Like, what's wrong with me? And when I got out and I ended up getting that second chance, boy, I fucking grabbed onto that shit with both hands. Like,
mm,
you're mine. Like, so that's where we're at. Like, just riding tough. So it's a good thing, like, to have somebody that's known you all those years, as and seen you develop into the person that you are, and shed some of those bad habits and who you were in the past and shit. So it's cool. It's good. It's comfortable. She's uh she's great as a support system, and she can just see, like, okay, like, yeah, you're a little fucked up. Like, you did some time and shit. Like, you're not all the way right, but
yeah.
I can see past that shit because I know who you are in your heart.
Now I remember all this from the other day. I just wanted you to explain it to everybody because when you told me, it reminded me, kind of me and her as teenagers. I'm like, that's crazy because you said y'all had a little history, it had a gap. You got back with her, you really appreciated it. So I knew that I wanted you to explain that so that the viewers could kind of see. That's a beautiful thing for real. It is like for real.
No,
Me,
you can't. It definitely taught me that you can't discount any encounter or relationship that you have because, separation, sometimes that just happens with life, the process and experiences, but you just never know what that might bring to you down the road. So, how you treat somebody today, you just don't know how that's going to turn out in 5, 10, 15 years.
very true. We wish you nothing but the best and good vibes, man. With that, and
Hell yeah. No, I appreciate it.
you're living a good life now. You're off your little whatever, but you are still finishing parole, right?
Right.
But
So,
yeah, that's
uh, I got 3 years of probation. They don't call it parole in the federal system. They did away with like the parole board, like 20, 30 years ago or something. They just call it probation. But yeah, I got 3 years. I don't really know how strenuous or strict they're going to be on it. I'm just kind of figuring it out right now. I had my first meeting. I'm waiting to get like my house checked and all that shit. So we'll see how it goes. I've never really had the greatest experiences, but everybody says that like federal paper is different. They definitely try to work with you and try and help you in ways that other systems don't. So we'll see.
and only you know you're making the choices that are good for you and your girl and whatever else situation. So it's not like no one else can cause you to fuck up or get violated. We all know that as a man, we take accountability, and I could tell that you're on that path where I don't feel like you probably don't got nothing to worry about with that. I had 3 years and completed it in one. Anybody could do it. It just
No
what?
shit.
Yeah, yeah. But in Ohio, it might be different. We got PRC. They go, you got 3 years in prison. My bad. 3 years PRC, 1 year mandatory. I'm like, okay, so I only got to do one. Yeah, but if I want, you could stay for three. I'm like, all right. Well, when that 1 year hit, they gave me a review, and she's like, sign this. It's your yearly review. I didn't really think nothing of it. I signed it, went and left. A week later, she called and goes, hey, you're good. I'm like, I'm good. She's like, yeah, your yearly review came back. But mind you, I had 12 months of clean urines at my MAT program. If you know, you know, it's a medication and a IOP. But I did 12 clean urines, and I didn't encounter the cops at all. That's all they care about, bro. So you know,
Yeah, hopefully that's all it is. Because I mean, I told her I'm like I'm the last person you're gonna have to worry about, dropping dirty. Like, I know you got to chase around a bunch of people all the time who are being deceptive and shit. Like, you don't got to worry about that with me. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I've just never had good experiences. Like, I mean, you get PTSD from going through that shit like throughout
right.
your lifetime. Like, these people are trying to bury me. They're not trying to help me. So, hopefully it's a different experience with a different mindset.
Piggyback off of that, you were literally the first person I've ever heard use that phrase, and I can make sense of it. Every single time that I have ever been around a PO or anything, I get this feeling that I can't explain. Even when I went and was done with everything, and I was going to like, everything was just going so smooth. I had nothing to worry about. I still would get this feeling in the pit of my stomach, like I'm gonna go in here and she's gonna grab me and cuff me up. And I don't know why. My girl literally said,
Nah,
"Well,
that's what it is, bro. It's like,
because they have done that to us." You know what I mean?
right.
In the
No,
past.
I
So,
think 4 out of the last 5 times I went in, I came out in cuffs. So when I went in last Wednesday,
but
I think it was maybe Wednesday or Tuesday or whatever. And I told her, I was like, I've been stressed out since last night about this shit. And I don't got anything to hide or anything to worry about. So, like, it's just from experiencing those things in the past. Like, that's just what your body's conditioned to. That's what your mind's conditioned to. Like, that's where it's going to go no
yeah.
matter what you got going on.
Our nature. It's their job to try to catch us. It's our job to try to get away with it. And even when you're not doing nothing to get away with, your body and your brain doesn't forget. It's just a carnal
Right.
nature believe that they're on this side, we're on this side, and even though we could walk in unison and do the right thing, you'll never forget the times that went wrong.
So, you know, I would definitely like to go into some of that shit on a part two. As you know, I went to high desert first. Then I was at a medium security. in the feds. Then I went to a USP, which is a high security, and then I went back down to a medium security.
Okay.
Uh, all on the West Coast where the politics are thick. So I went in there disillusioned. When you go to prison, and especially me being hard-headed, prideful, uh, all these things where I kind of ran what was going on in my life and other people's lives as well. You go in believing that prison politics is factual, and then when you experience the shit firsthand, you realize it's bullshit. Like you understand that the selfishness that underlines a lot of those things is real, and it's not about the unity or a cause or any of that shit. Uh I was at USP Victorville, Southern California, right outside of LA, so a lot of that California politics runs that yard. I saw a lot of vicious shit, shit that's never gonna leave. It's buried deep in me. When you see people get butchered, and by the time you're done, it doesn't even affect you. You're not right, because that's not normal.
Mm-mm.
Uh, there were certain situations that I've seen that definitely hit closer to home because not everything is warranted. There's certain times though where you're like, fuck it, that dude had it coming. You know what I mean?
Right.
People who victimize, women and children and shit.
Wood chip.
You're not gonna lose sleep out over that. But when you see situations where somebody's unalived or takes their own life because they fear what's about to happen to them and it's not even warranted, those are the type of things that stick with you because those things could happen to anybody because of the politics. So for people who believe like those politics, their law and their because of honor, and there's all these codes that, like, because that's what I believed. But, there's very few that are really about that and stick to those codes because that's just what it's supposed to be about honor. The prison system, that demographic of people has just imploded because of the drugs. There's so many synthetic drugs, and that's the driving force behind everything in prison. It's falling apart.